Keys to Success, number 78. I'm Dr. Martin Rutherford, certified functional medicine practitioner, chiropractor.
Dr. Randall Gates, board certified chiropractic neurologist, also a chiropractor.
And this Key to Success, number 78, may morph into a mini hangout. But we'll try to keep it succinct. I had an interesting weekend this weekend, and I had the opportunity to meet my mentor, who I haven't seen for a long time, Dr. Krasian. I found out that we all share the same issues. Despite he's the guy who basically started functional medicine in my view. And we're clinicians. It surprised me to hear that he still treats a little bit. Dr. Gates and I had continue to have discussions eternally about how we can help people to get through the program better, and how can we get people to stay better when they get done. Because I mean, what you're going through is not unlike someone who has an alcohol problem and needs to stop, and not only needs to maybe get help, maybe they need to go AA, maybe they need to go to a doctor and help to get detox if they're really, really severe, you know, or a drug addict that's trying to stop. I mean, aside from the severity of dealing with the initial parts of that, there are lifestyle changes that need to be had there. I mean, I don't know, for those of you who haven't had that experience, maybe you need to like find new friends. Maybe you need to stop hanging out in the same places. Maybe a bar is not the place to spend your evening. Maybe you should spend it somewhere else, or things of that nature. Those are basic. But believe it or not, in what we've done, we've even seen that there are certain aspects of what we do that make you more susceptible to alcoholism. Leaky gut, bad blood-brain barrier, bad liver problems. These all make that person, bad cerebellum, all make that person susceptible to take one drink, boom, they're off to the races. Whereas the other person takes one drink and it's like, okay, that's enough, I'll see you later. Lifestyle changes play a big, big part in those people getting better and staying better. So lifestyle changes also have a lot, and then understanding what you're going through when you go through this procedure. And this is not a simple procedure. We're going to do a hangout after we do this on integrative medicine is not functional medicine. Giving someone a diet and supplements for every one of their symptoms is not functional medicine, okay? When you walk in here, you're here because most people have tried all that and it hasn't worked. And there's a reason it hasn't worked. It's because you have multiple vicious cycles going on. Who's got a gut problem that's affecting their blood sugar, that's affecting their hormone levels, that's affecting their brain, and they got depression. Who's got fibromyalgia and has thyroid problems and has gut problems and has autoimmune problems. They have multiple different types of food sensitivities. They have severe stress. Those are all multiple vicious cycles that do not tend to lend themselves to a specific diet and or taking a supplement. But that is the model that people have in their head when they walk in there, despite the fact that every single person that walks in here, that model has failed. By the time a person gets here, the medical model has failed them. I went on a diet and took supplements model has failed them. And that is not the functional medicine model. And thus the recovery can be challenging for that patient, because in that model, they think I'm doing the diet, right, and I'm taking the supplement. I should have some sort of an immediate response. That is not how you recover from fibromyalgia, peripheral neuropathy, chronic fatigue, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, migraines, dizziness, vertigo, balance. It is a choppy recovery. As I tell everybody in the beginning, I say, you're going to recover like this. You're going to have bad days. And part of the thing that I am evaluating when you come in here the first day is, do you have what it takes to make it through these things? And sometimes there's a fine line. Sometimes there's people I look at and I go, man, these people are so disciplined, this is going to be a piece of cake for them. Sometimes it's not that clear. And sometimes it's like, this person has a lot of motivation. They want to be a good mom. They want to do this job. They want to take care of family. Whatever it is, they have a high motivation. Maybe they're not that person who's been totally ultimately disciplined to this point in time, but they deserve a chance to go through this program, because this may be the thing that switches them over. So these are the psychological aspects of getting through these programs. And ultimately, there's the same psychological aspects that help them to stay better. I've been
Right.
thinking about this for a while.
Well, and I've been thinking about it too. And I think we're even going to make our intake process even more difficult, because what I've seen is that there is this psychology
more refined.
Well, because there's a psychology among some of the patients that have a harder time going through this program. Meaning, let's use working out, for example. You know, most of us are not going to be world-class athletes, but let's say you're working out and you injure yourself. You can, at that moment in time, you can say, oh my gosh, this isn't working, you know, this is pointless. Or you can look and say, hey, I made this much progress before I got injured. I'm going to get through the injury and I'm going to be back to working out. Two completely diametrically opposed psychologies for that instance. And the problem that we see is that many of you, like Dr. Rutherford is saying, you come in and you think, okay, I'm going to change my diet, I'm following the program, and then you have a setback, and then it's like all the air just went out of the balloon. And, you know, it's not working, I'm never going to get better, you know, I don't know what's going on. And it is a problem, because really, because we see so many patients, what I can say, and, you know, of course, I'm not just putting it on you. I mean, I put it on us as well. We have to create your treatment plan that's effective. But I see patients who can weather those storms, and the patients that can weather those storms, they don't have an emotional reaction to the setbacks, and they just keep plugging away. And eventually they end up where they wanted to be, versus the patient who has these setbacks and has a really hard time with them. Then it just makes it 10 times harder to get them back on track and get going again. And the travesty, and what kills me about it, is that the patient who has these emotional setbacks, they can be better. You absolutely can be better, and I see it all the time. But a lot of it is just kind of reframing how we look at the situation. So really the takeaway from this is, if you do have a setback, you need to not be hard on yourself. You need to understand that you have a chronic problem. This isn't just a sprain of your wrist. These are chronic, as Dr. Rutherford says, vicious cycles, autoimmune diseases. Your immune system is attacking you. You're coming to us because you don't want to take heavy-duty medications for these issues. So if we're going to do that, yes, it's going to take a little time, and yes, it's going to be a graded path to you getting better, and yes, there are going to be downs at times. But if you can weather the downs, then usually we can figure out the issue. So that's what I want to say today. We're going to keep working on this. I'm going to keep thinking about this. This is why we did the keys to success in the first place,
right.
Because so many people would do really well going through the program, and then they didn't have us, and then they would just completely fall off the wagon in terms of the diet. There are those issues, but there are also the issues of, hey, you're going to have a bad blood test. Hey, you're going to have a bad couple of weeks. That's very informational for us, because it's telling us.
Yeah, it's actually good for us.
Did we discontinue a supplement in those couple weeks that maybe you were taking before that led to you having the bad blood test or returning your symptoms? Because believe it or not, I'm trying to get you off as many of the supplements as possible.
And those bad weeks, so you come in here, and a lot of times you come in here because all my tests were normal. All my tests were normal. And nothing's wrong with me. When here you're sitting there dying, you got fibromyalgia and peripheral neuropathy, you got chronic fatigue, you got pain everywhere, your guts are falling out your butt, and all your tests are normal, okay? Or you come in here and all your tests are not normal, but everything you're doing isn't working. So the testing is not the key. Here's the problem, okay? People have been just like I hate to use the term brainwashed, conditioned maybe. It's the test, it's a test, it's a test. And sometimes it's hard to break people off of that. The testing doesn't tell us everything, but I'll tell you what does tell us everything. When you're going like this and you have a bad spot in your recovery, that gives Dr. Gates enormous amounts of information as to not only that with diagnostically as to what really is going on in that complex physiology and how to get you from here back to there, but it gives him tremendous amount of data as to what you need to do to stay better, because the tests are normal or your tests were all over the place. So there's so much we don't know about the body, and most testing is in its infancy. I know it might be hard to believe, but most testing is not 100% accurate. In fact, it's gauged. They rate tests according to their sensitivity and specificity. There's almost nothing that's 100%. So you have to get the rest of the data from the body.
And what I want to interject there is that when you have those downs, and Dr. Rutherford said that gives me a tremendous amount of information, it's so true. And it's just like when an athlete injures themselves, at that point, whoever's training them can say, oh, we had a weakness. we had a weakness that now we can go back and strengthen and figure out, make you stronger so that you can
And oh,
continue
why,
better.
by the way, this happened because you have pronated foot that we missed.
Right,
And so we have
exactly.
to put this
Yeah.
in there. And now the person never has a problem again.
Exactly. And so it's so similar. So
And
look at
that's-
these setbacks as a positive. That's how you have to change your psychology.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the motivation behind the Facebook, okay, the Facebook group. And if you haven't heard about it, if you're not on it, get on it. This is our support group for you. For when you're going through the program, this is our support group. For when you're through the program, this is not an open Facebook. It is for people in this program. So that when you start feeling shaky, when you wonder why you have to stop eating gluten, when you're wondering why you're having a bad day, many of our most successful patients many who've breezed through this, and many who have not breezed through this and know how to get through it are on that. And they are warriors. They are there they understand the challenge. They understand the challenge. And thus, they are there to help. They drag people in here. They're amazing. It's like they're on our staff, and they're not even on our staff. They're just people who just care and they get it. And so, if you're wondering like, well, I can't cook and because I don't have the time to cook, you put on there, look, I don't have the time to cook. Does anybody run into this? And you'll get like 10 people who, whoa, here's how we handled that. And hang in there, and it's going to be okay. And it'll be one of the reasons, by the way, when you come here, we have everybody out in that room together is because most people are doing better. Most people are doing better, by the way. We're talking to those people who are having a problem. And I've had many patients tell me it's helpful when they talk to other patients, and the other patients who have already been through these downturns are saying, hang in there, it'll be okay. They know what they're doing, so on and so forth. So we have done that to help. We have tried to screen people properly, make sure that people who only really seem to have the ability to get through this, get into the program. We put these keys to success better together so that it can better help you. And now it's the Facebook. And I think the Facebook has the potential to be a huge thing. We only started January 1st, and we get nothing but positive feedback on it. And I encourage everybody to get on it.
Right, exactly.
And so,
because like Dr. Rutherford was saying, all those people on the Facebook group, they've had setbacks and they can coach you through them. And lots of times it's better to hear it from a patient than it is to hear it from me in those circumstances. So I don't know. I think that pretty well summarizes it. Okay. So key to success 78. We're probably gonna have a lot of people watch this.
This is going to be our golden go-to key to success.
Exactly.
Go watch number 78 and get on the Facebook thing. And that's going to be maybe our present go-to.
So we'll see you next week. Send us your comments, your questions. Have a good one.